Okay. Hey. All good?
Cool. Nice.
See you.
Yeah, nice to see you. Hey. All good?
Hey.
Yeah, very good.
You know.
You're hanging out with the wrong people. Wrong company.
Yeah.
Olivier, nice to meet you. Sorry, guys. Someone will call you, but I will be sitting. I'll be here. Gosh, guys. Oh, it is live. Okay. Okay. Fluent. Okay. Okay, can you talk a little?
Test. Oh, you shouldn't look in the light, actually.
Yeah, so that's nice.
Very bright light there.
Is it? Yeah, it is bright.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if I need to turn them on or not, but that's fine. The light is
No,
always
it's
good.
just, I think it's always a good chat.
Yeah.
Can never have too little.
You want to do this?
Yep.
Let's do this. Okay, there we go. You're live. This is the IoT Show, guys. Thanks for tuning in. We are at IoT Stars here in Nuremberg during Embedded World 2026. And I'm here with Vinke. And this is the usual now annual thing that we're doing over here. And I think kicking you off with you, I think it's been embedded as well.
Okay, nice.
All right. But anyways, you're always here. Thank you for that.
Happy to be here.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So the idea here today is like, have you share your feeling about Embedded World, where we're at in 2026, what's going on with the things industries,
Yeah,
this kind of things. And it's going to be a little bit back and forth for 10 minutes.
Yeah, sure.
You okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. Some people might not know you, even though you've been on the show about 10 times, guys. So, no excuse here. Anyways, how about you introduce yourself real quick?
Yeah, so my name is Winke Gisman, CEO and co-founder of the Things Industries. What we do is we provide software that allows you to manage LoRaWAN networks. And LoRaWAN is a IoT technology that allows you to operate sensors that run on a battery and can transmit data, small pieces of data for very long distance. So this is really perfect on an industrial site where you have a large space, but you only need to know if a valve is open and closed, or in a fast food restaurant where you want to know for every fridge what the temperature is.
Yeah.
And we have 1,000 other use cases.
Yeah. So long distance, low bandwidth, but low consumption, which is kind of key. Most often, LoRa sensors, they are LoRaWAN sensors. They're purely on battery. The battery can last for years.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So not Wi-Fi.
No, it's not Wi-Fi, and it's all about enterprise IoT, where the total cost of operation is the key thing.
Yes.
So making sure you don't have to replace these batteries.
Yeah. So I think we do understand well the scenarios. It's interesting at an era where like 5G is becoming ubiquitous. We're talking about the fact you were surprised that there was no 5G reaching within the building with the concrete walls and so on. 5G, even though everyone expects, especially in developed countries, that it's ubiquitous, available everywhere, it is not. Right? And so anywhere where you think you could have network connectivity through cellular, you might not have. And so this is where LoRaWAN is a good choice. Yeah. It's been around for some time.
Yeah.
What are the latest developments? Where are things at when it comes to LoRaWAN?
So we're actually in our 11th year, and we were there when the standard was launched. We were one of the first to adopt it, and we created a developer ecosystem. And one of the things that we see happening kind of across the board, we have now 4 million devices on the platform, is that it's becoming really good at these use cases between like 50 and 100,000 units.
Okay.
And mostly operated with private networks. So for instance, you have 1,000 fast food restaurants, or you have like a nationwide logistical network. What you can easily do is install these LoRaWAN gateways on premise, and then form an entire network together. So for instance, you have internal logistics, but you have lots of sites across the country. Maybe you don't need to follow all the goods and the assets you have, but you want to know in which site they are. That's, for instance, where we see kind of a lot of different use cases emerge, and if you look at LoRaWAN as a technology, it's a fairly simple technology if you compare it, for instance, to cellular technologies, and that's a really big advantage. Because actually the NRE, so the non-recurring engineering cost, which is kind of here in the embedded world, that's what people look at, is not so high. Like if you want to build an industrialized product, let's say that you 300, 400K, you're done, and you can like have a product that can go to market. And that means that the barrier is a bit lower in getting into IoT for a lot of companies, and getting to a POC, that these costs are even way lower, right? Then we're talking about sometimes thousands of dollars and euros. But also the barrier to industrializing units, and I think that makes sure that we constantly see more customers with a lot of different ideas.
I like this notion of private network. You can build your own network locally that you control, you know, from the device to the gateway, and no one else is coming into that network. There's a notion of public networks as well, where you know, you can have operators sharing our networks. It's pretty cool. So a follow-up question, which is, you know, here in Embedded World, I went around the booth and everyone is talking about Edge AI. LoRaWAN does not allow you to transfer a lot of data, right? Is there scenarios where still some people want to have AI on these devices down there, like things that could be, for example, motion sensors that would be attached to a box that you're tracking? I know you don't want to push a full model update through LoRaWAN, and you cannot. But do you still see scenarios where people want to have AI down on these kind of lower devices?
Just first to your first question is I see massive potential. So you have these MCU AI chip companies like Inotera, BrainChip, Aleph, Efficient Computer. Probably I'm forgetting a bunch, but they can do really low power inferencing at the edge. The potential is there. We're also, IoT operates in an enterprise world, and typically enterprises operate in a legacy context where innovation adoption is really hard. So sometimes we even have to tell customers that if this then that exists, right? So
they're not yet at the point of putting AI.
No, sometimes we have to tell customers like if the last reading is the same as current reading, then just don't send it, right? So if like sometimes, so there's a whole spectrum of enterprise size. So then to your point is that there's this audio, like even the sound of breaking glass, this
noise cancellation,
that kind of stuff. So basically making sure that you filter out the false positives, that kind of stuff. To your point, can we doing software updates and pushing that to over LoRaWAN, that's a bit too much bandwidth to require. But there's also a lot of standard models where you probably are good enough with the ML you have on the edge, and maybe there's really no need for the next 4 years to update the ML model.
No,
because it's very
these things are pretty simple at the end of the day, right? It's one set of sensors. They don't do a lot. But you can run some inference on these tiny devices that burns very little battery, and that actually pairs up pretty nicely with LoRaWAN, where you can have something intelligent that notifies something happened. And there is also, like, if you talk to the guys here at the show of Efficient Computer,
then they have demos where they do even image recognition over a battery operated device, and then you can say you can narrow the model completely down if you only use these cameras to detect how many people go in and out. Right. Then and then at least you have some data, and otherwise you wouldn't have any data, right? So I'm excited. I also believe that has to go through a level of maturization, and probably there's a bit of hype around it right now. But the potential is pretty significant.
What do you mean hype?
There's no hype. There's no hype.
Everything is true. So last one for you, Vinket. So you have a talk tonight at IoT Stars.
Can
you give me a little teaser so that people then can go and watch somewhere?
So the title is not suitable for publication.
Yeah, we're live, so maybe you
Yeah.
can go. It's like
Yeah,
adult only.
Yeah, so no. Yeah, so it's the title's called "Don't Piss on Me and Tell Me It's Raining," and that's and it's about the perseverance you need to build IoT companies,
Okay.
and also listening to customers. Also, if they're very unfriendly and saying things like this, and there's always a lesson in what a customer says, and this is really about the journey about the journey that we had over the last 10 years, where we focused much more on the user than on investors or in business models.
Yeah.
And that got us where we are right now, the fast-growing SaaS company that's doing really well. So yeah, I think it's the story of the journey and about just hanging in there, focusing, and other cliches.
Yeah, no, but it's a good lesson in general, especially in these times that we are in today, where there's like so many changes so fast that you could be waiting for things to happen, or you could be ultra focused on your technology and your shiny object and not care about your customer, or you could be successful by caring about your customer, what they need, and delivering on that.
Yeah, and that's yeah, and then that's the trick, and then the market does what it does, right? Like sometimes, and I think IoT didn't really grow that super fast, but now it's there, and even 30% year on year is a quite significant growth.
It is. It's happening. Vinke, thank you very much for your time tonight.
Yeah, thank you.
Everyone, stay tuned. We have next guest coming up soon on the IoT Show here at IoT Stars.
Thanks.
And we are back on the IoT Show. We are live from IoT Stars in Nuremberg, Germany, during Embedded World 2026. That's a very long sentence to say every single time, but I will. And I'm with Sergio, and Sergio will introduce himself, EV Electronics as well, when he is with, and we'll talk about Edge AI, its complexity, the need to have partners to help you in your journey. But prior to jumping into that, Sergio,
thank you very much, Olivier.
Thanks for
Nice to be here.
Today.
Yes,
Tell us a little bit about yourself.
I'm Sergio Timpretti. I'm Vice President of Marketing at BV Electronics, a distributor in EMEA, part of Avnet, a worldwide group. And I'm here really to talk, to share our experience, our journey on the Edge AI.
Okay.
What is needed to get all working easy on this topic.
Yeah. Have you seen, so first question, you're in touch with customers asking for hardware solutions, and obviously, because you talk about AGI here, are you seeing a real pickup, like early 26 and 2025, on these AI at the edge scenarios, or is it still?
No. I mean, this is really an interesting question because, yes, we are deep on AI for at least 5-6 years. And we are now seeing much more interesting which application, the one related to vision.
Okay.
So really to have on the edge the image, the object recognition for the industry, so surface quality checking, wireless control, behavior, this kind of and yes, based on the request of the customer, we developed an approach that is not just proposing the component, the device that can come from various manufacturers, but to bring them to all the journey of starting from the idea, select the component, maybe go to a board. So here buy versus make is something that is really important, depends on also on the knowledge of the company, and putting them in touch with third party. They have a knowledge of specific things, and maybe then we can also a bit go deeper on this topic.
What I'm curious to know, that we know that AI at the edge has multiple interests. You have privacy in terms of the data. Data stays. Camera is a good example. You want the data to stay on premise, on the device, never goes out. Privacy is super important. Latency is another one.
Latency,
right?
Absolutely.
And then you obviously have other dimension and notions, but this is complex. There's a new dimension to building these kind of devices. In the past, we're building an embedded device. There's the hardware and then the sensors, operating system.
I mean,
now you have
let me go through this. You are right. There are privacy. We want to have all the data because there is no AI without data, and we want to keep it the privacy, image sensing of many of the measurement that can be, no latency, because we want to take the action immediately. This can be on industrial environment, automotive for all the others and so on. We want to keep also low power consumption. Energy is really something very, very interesting. So you can imagine instead to send to the cloud all the information and come back, you do fast and so on. But also the resilient system. So having on the edge, it gives you to get the solution up and running, let's say 100% of time. Instead, then go to cloud, there is disruption and so on. And this makes a bit complex in which term, in which of all the enablement that is needed to take care of this. So we try always to advise a solution that has an ecosystem really good to let you to go on the vision system, on the ITOF, on the sensing, all this kind of measurement that is letting you able to take the decision.
Okay. And one direction I was going is complexity. So your customers are in specific verticals or industries. they're experts in, I don't know, building material, excavation, constructions of buildings or whatever. They're not experts in AI. They're not experts very often in embedded development. So how do you deal with that? How do you help them?
I mean, we try to, and this is exactly what is happening. We meet customer in electric environment or even in other areas. They explain us what they need to do, what is the needs that they have, and we try to guide them in a way to solve this issue. There was a company that was looking to check for the, let's say, plane, helicopter, the status of all the surface. So we were really advising to use drones with the camera and with all the model that was able to look on the surface if there is damage and so on for this kind of stuff. Or customer in industrial worlds, motor control, they want to do analysis or better, continuous monitoring, predictive maintenance. They know how to, out of the measurement, how to detect what is happening, but they don't know how to put together the fusion of all the sensors.
Yeah.
And we guide them. We put in touch with companies that are in this area expert to develop basically software.
Okay, awesome. So customers are not on their own. Do you see a proportion of customers who are still trying to do it themselves, or do they now really realize that this is out of their competency?
I mean, the ones that try to do themselves are more on high-end AI application. The ones that are using PC or big mainframe going to the cloud. The other one try really to get some part done. For example, we as a company, we developed a board. So with an NPU and a coprocessor, we give them all the BSP, all the infrastructure to get up and running a lot of application, robots. I mean, I was mentioning drones, but robotics in general that include the drones is the other area where we will see this area of development of edge AI.
Yeah, fascinating. I love that. So Sergio, it's IoT Stars tonight. So we're gonna go get a drink downstairs. What is the one thing that you're excited about in 2026 when it comes to our domain of expertise and where we're evolving?
I mean, this is really I mean, I want to say that will be a bit more mature the market to start seeing development of this application on the edge.
Yeah.
Like you were asking at the beginning, a lot of requests for several years, but the big volume and production is still not there. There are a lot of cameras around the world that are AI based, but on the application in the industry, on the street is not well diffused.
Okay. So you see an uptake of that?
Yeah,
Awesome.
I really think that this will be the year where we will start growing.
Well, maybe see you next year, and we'll do a little.
Absolutely, I will be really happy to show and share some success story for this.
Awesome, Sergio.
Thank you very much,
Ci
Olivier. It's
vediamo.
been a pleasure. Ci
Me
vediamo.
too. Ciao. Stay tuned. We have other guests coming up on the IoT Show right away. And we are back on the IoT Show at IoT Stars Embedded World 2026. Here was Ken from Rack Wireless. And we'll talk about what's up with Rack Wireless this year in 2026, right?
Sure.
But you introduce yourself real quick, let people know who you are and what you do.
Sure. Yeah, my name is Ken. I'm the founder and the CEO of Rack Wireless. So Rack Wireless, I think almost 5 years we back the IoT Star event.
Yes.
And we quite active in the IoT community space and also focus on the LoRaWAN technology.
Okay.
So we offer the complete private network solution to help the solution builder. They can deploy, manage the whole private network with LoRaWAN technology. That's actually what we do.
Interesting. Do you see an uptake on, so now people that say that IoT didn't take, that it was hype some years ago, and then it kind of not fell apart, but didn't really take. Do you think it's actually taken? Do you see customers really adopting IoT, connecting LoRaWAN and other technologies? Is it something you're seeing?
Yeah, we definitely see the momentum keep going up significantly compared to before. And, we have some customer there in the animals. They have implementing LoRaWAN network in the field. We also have some other like emergency solution, also means deployment in the schools. So if there's a trend, like you mentioned, there's still a lot of challenge, right? Hardware is not like software.
Yes.
You need to build the ideas, prototype, and you need to validate in the field, and you need to test with your customer. Moreover, you also need to convince your customer to change some behavior operation to adopt the solution, right? I think that's very challenge.
Yeah.
But now I think through the AI technology, before we only have the data. We generated the data, we transmitting the data, we showcase the data. But with AI, I think it's very good for analyze the data, which make data useful for industry, right? So I think that's maybe give very good positive signal to the industry.
Interesting. I agree with you where we struggled at demonstrating value for IoT because we're just like giving data and a dashboard. And so we're just like, okay, I'm the farmer.
Yeah.
I want to have interesting information about my cows.
Yeah.
I don't want to have like numbers on the dashboard. That makes sense. So as a follow-up question, I'm curious to know, and I asked that before, do you think there is also a factor that customers were trying to do everything themselves, considering that hey, it's going to cost less? I just like build the parts and build things myself. Do you think they are accepting the fact that there's a bunch of things that they cannot do on their own?
Yeah.
They will go buy parts, hardware, software stack, connectivity solution, and start aggregating versus building everything.
Yeah, I think from two perspectives. One is from customer. I mean, the solution builder. They actually start from funding a problem. They build a solution to solve the problem, right? So for this kind of the use case, because no mature hardware invented in the market at that moment. So I think for him, he have to do by himself, to do the hardware prototype, to do maybe network can buy from Rack.
Yeah.
But most of job they have to do, even for the large commercial solution, they have very big team just building one hardware. Okay. So that's actually what I say. But the other perspective, I think for normal use case, like you already have network, you have killer apps, solve your customer problem, but your customer also want to add some other common use case like a lighting, like a switch, blah, blah. Then I think they can just use some third party ready to use hardware. So that's actually my insight.
Yeah, I like that. So we are at the beginning of 2026, already well into 2026. Is this something that you're super excited about when it comes to IoT or what Rack Wireless is doing these days? Is this something you're looking forward to?
Yeah, definitely. I think, right now we see more and more LoRaWAN application is not in the POC stage. It's in the production.
Okay.
So I think one of the exciting is push me to visit the customer, understand when they move to the new phase, what's their challenge?
Yeah.
And maybe they have some, the challenging maintenance of the network, instability of the operation. Hey, we just try to, if Rack this solution, we can hear them. And another exciting is about the edge AI, right?
Yeah.
So we can definitely use the AI to analyze the data to give more insightful actions.
Awesome. Well, fascinating. So we have IoT Stars here tonight.
Yeah.
We'll go get a drink.
Yeah.
And talk more about all of that.
Yeah.
Thanks a lot. for your
Okay.
time, Ken,
Thanks for
tonight.
having me.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
cool.
everyone, stay tuned. We have someone else coming up just
Sure.
after.
Take care. Thank
Awesome.
you.
And we are back. Thanks for tuning in. And we are at IoT Stars Embedded World 2026 in Nuremberg. Here, so we're going to talk about IoT, right? It's the IoT show. We're going to talk about AI at the edge and what's going on at this micro. How are you?
Yeah,
Thanks for
good.
coming. Great. We met like 10 years ago,
Yes.
something like that.
Yes,
I was
at the
with
beginning of
Microsoft.
IoT.
At the beginning of IoT. Yeah, 10 years. Yes.
Yes.
We're talking already Azure, so cloud,
Yeah.
connectivity,
Yeah.
platform for devices. So, well, 10 years. What has happened since then? Where are things?
Yeah, a lot.
Yeah.
I think first of all, AI came into the picture,
Yes.
and
Big time.
as this is the topic of today,
Yes.
Edge AI, I think, is one of the reasons why you will need more IoT.
Okay.
Because if you want to do AI at the edge, for sure you need to connect.
Yes.
Because when you want to do inference and you want to do what happens, then you have to go to the cloud to connect the data, to take some action. Typically, systems are distributed. It's difficult to have a device that is just itself. So this adds up to the fun.
Yeah, you're not the first one. And I know that's the theme of IoT Star, which is basically IoT is powering AI at the edge. I like it. I think it makes sense. And we hear a lot talking about physical AI, which is about the AI that senses the environment, interacts with it. And IoT is the tool for AI to touch the world, right?
Yes.
Awesome. Anything new at Micro when it comes to IoT and Edge AI? Actually?
Yeah, no, we do a lot. We do, as you know, our portfolio includes sensor, microcontrollers, and we've been busy, and connectivity, of course. We've been busy to put AI at the edge, at the deepest edge.
Okay.
So today we will show a tool called the ST IoT Craft. That is an end-to-end solution to develop AI inside the sensor. We have inside the MEMS a tiny AI that we can program so that the sensor itself gives you already the inference. You don't have to stream all the data.
Nice, nice. So you already are able to have a sensor that intelligently filter out the nominal, uninteresting information and send something that's already compiled as an information, as an insight.
Yes.
It's pretty powerful. you need to balance power consumption as well.
Yes.
Memory availability, with the cost of memory these days not easy. How do you propose customers approach this balance? How do they know if it's better to run AI at the edge or to have a hybrid model, but eventually you also have cloud in the cloud?
Yeah, typically the deepest you go, the more energy efficient you are.
Okay.
A MEMS sensor consumes much less than the microcontrollers, that consumes much less than NPU, that consumes much less than the cloud.
Yeah.
So the deepest you can push the inference, the better it is.
Okay.
Also because you will stream less data upstream. So if, for example, you don't have intelligence in the sensor, you have to stream all the data to the microcontroller.
Yes.
The microcontroller is much more power consuming,
Yes.
and you have to move data on the board.
Yes.
So that's one example.
Yes. And then if you have to send to the cloud, you have to send data
Yes.
over the air on radio, which actually consumes a
Yes.
lot as well.
Yes, and this is one of the reasons why everybody, even cloud providers, are interested not to waste so much effort in sending all the raw data.
Yeah. That's interesting. It's kind of backwards. People are saying IoT data, but actually we're realizing we need IQ the data as well. Not
Yes.
just about sending more data to the cloud to feed big models. It's also about bringing it down there. Then we're realizing that, guess what? These big models can be adapted to run on tinier devices.
Yeah.
So we can have noise cancellation. We can have translators.
Yeah.
We can have a bunch of things. Are you seeing also an uptake of agentic AI at the edge?
Yes.
In what form?
So here, I think now we are used to the big LLMs.
Yes.
There is a trend, a research trend, that is trying to fit smaller LLMs closer to the edge.
Yeah.
And again, it's for the same reason.
Yes.
So this is typically what can happen. And I think even agents that will orchestrate context will be coming. So
Yes.
more, even in software development, you will teach an agent to write the application for you.
Yeah, there's a developer tool aspect of things. There's the agent to help you configure a device and so on. The agentic model is going to be interesting for automation on the device itself as well, right?
Yes.
Having a logic that lends to an action, that lends to a reflection on an observation, reflection. There's this agentic loop that can happen. It's perfectly fitted for embedded in IoT devices.
Yes, and you were mentioning before physical AI, humanoid robotics. This will be a typical case where you will have maybe a central processor in the robot. There will be a big processor with big Gen AI engine there, talking with the hands, the legs, where there will be more tiny devices, and it's the same architecture.
So that means also more chips, more distribution, tinier intelligence everywhere. Not one big brain, but multiple tiny brains here and there, right? So more work for us.
Yeah.
Awesome. So last question for you. What are you excited about for 2026?
So I think those two things we mentioned. First of all, the arrival of agentic, so that we'll be able to program the agents that do more job for us. So we'll be much more efficient. So personally, I believe this will help us, not create a threat for us.
Okay.
And the second thing is the physical AI. This will be the next big transformation.
Yes.
I'm really looking forward to work on that.
Okay, me too. So see you next year, and we'll talk about that and see where things are at.
Yes.
So maybe us, and hopefully not robots instead of us. But,
I will send my agent next year.
Stay tuned. We have more
Bye-bye.
people for the show coming up in a second. Hi everyone, this is the IoT Show live from IoT Stars at Embedded World 2026 in Nuremberg, Germany. Right?
Yeah, you got it.
I said it already 10 times.
No, I'm
right?
sure you have. Yeah, yeah.
I'm here with Brendan from Blues. Brendan, you're not to be introduced, but still, I'd like for you to tell us a
Oh,
bit
of
about
course.
yourself and Blues.
Absolutely. So I am Brandon Satcham. I'm the SVP of Product and Experience at Blues. Been at Blues for about 6 years. And Blues, our goal in life is to help our customers take disconnected things and get those things easily, simply, securely connected to the cloud using Wi-Fi, cellular, LoRa, or satellite. So we offer modules for all of those major radio access technologies and a cloud platform to bring them all together.
Also making it seamless. There's one trend I've seen in connectivity, but also in other areas of IoT is that we're seeing more and more the case of customers not building everything on their own.
Yeah.
Building less and less on their own.
Absolutely.
Actually,
Yeah.
And composing their solution
Absolutely.
by integrating
Yeah, finding things off the shelf that actually work, right?
And,
yeah.
And most often these things are okay.
I think so, absolutely, because we're not trying to solve everything. We're not trying to be an end-all be-all IoT platform.
Yes.
What we're trying to do ultimately is just solve that messy middle piece of connectivity, right? One of the hardest pieces is getting something online on the physical hardware layer, finding a module, working with the radio access technology you have to work with, getting the security set up, building a cloud application and a platform for all of that. Yes. We just really want to make that whole piece simpler so the customers can focus on their sensors, their actuators, their MCU. We work with anything, get that data quickly into their cloud services, and that's it, right? That's it. They do what they want with it. We just want to broker the communication of telemetry between device to cloud easily.
Yeah.
That's it.
So there's a refreshing thing I'm seeing these days, and I'm not sure you're going to explain to me why it is, but we've been talking about failed IoT projects.
Oh, wait, for years,
last
right?
2 years.
Yeah.
Not this year. I'm hearing a lot.
Okay.
I'm hearing a lot about the fact that IoT is mature. IoT is taking off. IoT is necessary for
Absolutely.
AI to happen.
Absolutely. Yeah.
What's your take on that?
I think that's absolutely right, and I think it is great. It is surprising, but it's probably not unexpected, because I think what's ultimately happening is the promise of IoT is diffusing throughout the industry, and it's reaching the parts of the industry that couldn't justify building before because they weren't John Deere and they weren't Tesla. Right? The companies that adopt IoT early, they had the R&D budgets to do this. But the companies that really, really need this are small businesses in not the economic hot zones of the country that are doing things like industrial control systems, agriculture, shipping, logistics, right? They're not small businesses in their industries, but they don't have giant R&D teams. They don't have people that can do everything from designing the hardware up to the cloud. And as we do more of this composition, like you said, it's diffusing the opportunity for people to take things off the shelf and pull that into a full solution where they don't have to do it all themselves. And that's why I think we're finally seeing that success. AI is definitely a piece of it, but I think the big piece is a lot of this is accessible to these companies that have been otherwise left behind.
I think there's some level of trust into these blocks that it can aggregate.
Yeah.
And there's also AI as a motivation. I've heard someone earlier on say that until now we had IoT producing data displayed in dashboard.
Yeah.
But customers were looking at us like, what do you want me to do?
Oh, what do I do with it? Yeah, I have a dashboard. Okay, great. I can see a chart.
And the first step has been that AI was able to, LLM in particular,
Absolutely.
to make sense of that data for that.
100%.
Right?
Yeah.
Without having to be a data scientist.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which is kind of key.
Yeah.
But now we're seeing AI brought to the edge.
Yep, definitely.
How do you see that? So Blues enabling multi-type of connectivity.
Yeah.
You do enable large bandwidths when needed.
Yeah.
So typically, do you see customers looking into, hey, I need to have a model that needs to be updated. I'm going to push that.
Oh, we absolutely see that. Yeah. And this is actually something we see from a lot of our customers. They, for years and years, have sent everything to their cloud services. And I would ask the question, okay, what are you doing with all this data?
Yeah.
And the answer is, we don't really know. We're sending terabytes into data lakes, and we don't quite know yet what we're going to do with it. We'll figure it out later. They are starting to learn. They're using AI. They're using LLMs. They're uncovering what patterns are emerging in their data. And what they're doing with that is they're realizing, well, I don't need to send all of this. I just need to send the end piece, or there's 3 pieces of this sensor that I need and this payload, and I'll refine my model. I refine what I send in firmware, and as they're learning and as they're using ML in their cloud services, they're leveraging AI powered sensors, because there are IMUs out there that have built-in models that they can use, right? They're using those things. They're making their own inference, their own decisions at the edge, then pushing the results back. And we love that, because obviously one of our big pieces, one of our big value props is making cellular connectivity easy. And you shouldn't send terabytes of data over cellular. There are very few businesses who can justify the cost.
Yes.
So if we can help a customer opt what they are sending, and yes, still use that to update the models to downstream them back to the ultimate devices, that's a huge win for them.
Brilliant.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
absolutely.
So Brendan, what are you excited about? Some things are coming in blue.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
The,
give us a teaser.
the biggest thing that I'm excited about, we actually launched a new product this. I mentioned at the beginning, we've always been very big on covering as many radio access technologies as we can, cellular, Wi-Fi, LoRa, and satellite. For years, what we've done is we started with cellular. We added cellular and Wi-Fi in a single module a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Today, we launched a module that has cellular, Wi-Fi, and NTN satellite in a single module. So rather than designing a board with multiple radios, you can get 3 radios in one. And perfect for IoT, satellite is great for IoT as a failover technology. I'm still a big believer in that, right?
Yes.
When you're at the edge of the internet, when you're on a truck route or a shipping route where you lose connectivity, and to have that in a single module where you only need to turn it on when you need it, and you're only paying for the data that you send, is pretty powerful.
Yeah.
So we just launched that. I'm really excited about
Awesome.
it.
And the beauty of Blues is that it's not just the hardware.
No, it's not.
And
Absolutely.
typically, as a developer building an app, I ask send data.
Yeah.
I don't say send data over satellite
No.
if it's available.
No.
And whatever.
No, you let the
It's-
module decide, right? Absolutely. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love
Yeah.
it. And then other notes, right? IoT Stars tonight.
Yep.
Lots of people excited about our AI and IoT
Yeah.
come together. And we're looking at plenty of new scenarios for 2026.
Yeah.
What are the things that keep you, excited, motivated for 2026, besides the new announcements from?
Oh, sure. I think the thing that keeps me most excited right now is that we as an industry are learning the value of context when it comes to making sense of all the masses of data that we have. You were talking earlier about getting LLMs connected to these systems. The reality is that even the best LLM in the world, when you just point it at a bunch of data, if it doesn't have an understanding of the context that your product works in, the sensor types you use, how the product is mounted, all of these kinds of things, you actually are losing out on a lot of the value. And I think one of the things that we'll see more of this year is methods and approaches by which our customers and any customer can marry the telemetry with context to actually get something out. It's the tooling, right? ChatGPT is great. Claude is great. Those tools are not great because they're LLMs. They're great because they're LLMs with tooling, with reinforcement learning, right? They can pull from disparate sources and they marry that context with your question to answer a question.
Love it.
It's really cool. Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah.
I'm excited then.
Yeah, man. Absolutely.
Thanks, Brendan, for your time.
Yeah. Happy
Everyone,
to do it.
thanks for tuning in. Stay around. There might be someone else.
I'll move.
Okay, we're back here on the IoT Show, live from IoT Stars. And here is Alexis from Edge Impulse, and we'll talk about AI at the edge, among other things, right?
Yeah.
Alexis, all right.
All right, good.
Yeah. Thanks for coming today. So
Glad to
who
be
are
here.
you? What are you doing?
So my name's Alexis. Previous role, I was a CTO at Sigfox in Abyss, and I joined Edge Impulse as a Chief Product Officer about 6 months ago.
Okay. What's your focus on a day-to-day basis?
So nowadays, like there's, I'd say two things. So Edge Impulse was acquired by Qualcomm about a year ago. So the integration is still going on. What's really interesting is that Qualcomm really has this new developer-first strategy. And so they really kept us independent from the traditional organization. But what we get to do is we get to leverage Qualcomm resources, right? We get to work with the latest technologies, the latest chipsets. We've seen an announcement from Arduino, for example.
Yes.
And so that's really exciting because we keep our DNA while getting access to this amazing ecosystem from, Qualcomm. Right?
Yes.
It's a massive company. It's got a history. It's got
I
engineering.
just joined too, right?
Yeah.
So,
When you put it,
but I'm with you. It's like very impressive. Lots of things I didn't know about, right? And the way
Same
they're
here.
approaching developer relations and experience in a new way. Edge Impulse are doing foundries. We'll talk about foundries just after that. It's pretty exciting. How do you go from focusing and enabling connectivity, low bandwidth, low energy, Sigfox? How do you go into edge AI or TinyML at the beginning, but edge AI with Edge Impulse? Like the transition, is it natural? Is it something that you think makes sense to go in the direction?
I think so. It's more of a personal thing, obviously, career. But I was lucky enough to build the first cloud environment for Vodafone 10 years ago.
Yes.
And in between, I actually had my own startup where I was actually building all these things already. Like Enerbrain, you may have heard about it, an Italian startup who did energy efficiency. So as a CTO there, I had the chance to work on machine learning in the cloud, and then work on IoT, Sigfox sensors, control devices for buildings, doing energy management, doing energy efficiency.
Okay.
And what's been really interesting in the last couple of years, even though I went to the extreme, right, with Sigfox, really low power, really low bandwidth, I started to see that everything we did in the cloud before, the ML, the sort of advances in AI, we started to gradually come into devices as the chipsets were getting more powerful. We started to see NPU. I think a good example was Google Coral. It was a really first interesting device, right?
Yes.
Where you plug in
TinyML chips.
Yes. And so you had your Raspberry Pi, you plug in the Coral, you're like, okay, I got acceleration here. I'm still like power hungry, but no, something's happening. And so throughout the years, like personally, I kept in touch with that part of the ecosystem. And so Edge Impulse, like growing through there, starting with TinyML, and then getting closer and closer to basically the work that we were doing around connectivity, right? And I'd say last year, it's been really interesting because this is all converging. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
And, you can have an Edge AI device that is low power, that is going to use a LoRaWAN, a Sigfox, an LTM, but I will have like all these models running on device.
Yeah.
So that's how I came to Edge Impulse. And
I'm tempted. With your perspective, your experience and background, what can go wrong? Because we're seeing companies consolidating. We're seeing more and more parts of an IoT from device to cloud being less granular and it being integrated by customers. But we're going super fast, and bringing AI to the edge is happening in a matter of months, maybe, but months. What can go wrong? Where's the wall, and what is it that we're gonna?
It's interesting, right? Because I think especially last couple of months, if we go to the broader AI ecosystem with open notebook, right? So there's an acceleration there. Start to see people plugging in, testing out different things. And I think what could go wrong is something that's gone wrong many times with IoT, is where person are really excited about that technology, may not understand all the consequences in terms of security, right? All these cameras that were hacked at the beginning, right? Like really quickly implemented IP cameras. And then next thing you know is 100,000 cameras have been hacked. I think that this is what we need to be careful about. And something actually at Edge Impulse where
we have an applied research team. It's actually looking at that and being very careful on basically how do you do responsible AI and how can we guide users and developers in doing that responsible AI. We actually have a book on that, so that's why I feel
no, that's
we can
interesting.
talk about
That's
it.
interesting.
I'd say that that's the main risk I see today.
Yeah.
Not technology. There's a lot of interest, a lot of engagement, but that brings about perhaps like the too fast of an adoption from that perspective.
Yes.
So I love the community, the developers to bring in their own knowledge and also bring that experience to the edge AI and to everything else we're building today.
I was about to ask you, what do you think is the role of the developer, the traditional embedded developer, and we're seeing now people more versed into AI and machine learning and so on.
Yeah.
What is their role in that future that we're seeing being shaped today?
Right. I think we start with one main challenge here, which is a good one, is we start to have a community of developers that's very different from what we were used to, right? In the IoT space, it came a lot from the embedded developers. That was much more microcontrollers, modules, like it was kind of a knowledge that was common across the board.
Yep.
But with edge AI, we start to see machine learning, data scientists coming to the devices, right? Coming to the hardware.
Yes.
And so I think like anything, I'd love to see the community sharing knowledge and bringing in the different experiences and collaborating, which, we see that around Arduino, we see that around Edge Impulse, and doing more of that. I think it's one of the great ways to share knowledge and address these issues before they even appear, because that shared knowledge is more powerful than
Maybe avoid the wall. And I have a last one for you.
Sure.
Like looking ahead, we are seeing and talking, about AI as models, simple models being optimized to run at the edge. But the trend in the cloud these days is even beyond LLMs, VLMs, is agentic AI.
Yes.
The ability for models to be used within a loop that is about sensing, like thinking or planning, and then acting. And acting is critical. It's something that's in embedded. We've always said that embedded is about sensing and acting. So agentic AI, how do you see it coming into the embedded / IoT world? And what kind of importance do you think it will take?
I think what we're seeing that's matured recently is what we call VLM, Vision Language Models, right? So it's not quite yet acting, but I think it's a really good step towards where we're going to go.
Yeah.
So a VLM today is you will have a vision model that can run on a really tiny device.
Yeah.
It will detect an object, but it probably doesn't know what the object is. And so it's going to cascade into a small language model that runs on device. So, the new Arduino products run that today. It's pretty awesome. And that language model will interact with the vision model and tell you, oh, this is a person wearing, a purple shirt. Probably works for Edge Impulse. It has a logo there.
Yes.
Hopefully the SLM knows that. And then we'll give you that regional context.
Yeah.
Where we see the market moving, that's very interesting. We see the market moving towards VLA. Vision, language, action model.
Yeah.
And it's not just one model. That's where it gets really interesting. It's a couple of models that start to work together. And what's great with that is you can actually train these models or select these models in a way that's highly tested and highly understood.
Yep.
And that's going to give you that safety in the final action, right?
Okay.
So basically robotics are a clear use case these days.
Yep.
And so we're seeing this combination of models that are bringing to life basically things that even 2 years ago we couldn't achieve.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
Oh,
I'm so
likewise.
excited.
Yeah.
We're building physical AI. Qualcomm, now we have lots of the stacks.
Yeah.
That's pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's good, huh?
Alexis, merci beaucoup.
Merci.
Bonne soirée, à bientôt.
Merci.
Thanks, guys, for tuning. Stay here because we have a couple more guests. We'll talk about foundries, and we'll certainly talk about Arduino as well. So stay around. Thank you.
Bye.
Awesome. Welcome back to the IoT Show. Thanks for staying online. Thanks for being with us. We are at IoT Stars, which is that networking event that happens every single time at Embedded World and at other events. But we have all the top thought leaders around IoT, and we have very interesting conversation. One tonight about what it takes to make edge AI happen when it comes to deploying models and doing that at scale. And for that, we'll talk about Foundries.
Right.
So how about you give us a little bit word about yourself? What is Foundry? Who are you? Where are you coming from? In 1 minute.
In 1 minute. So I've been in the tech business for a very long time, run multiple startups, was the first employee and CEO of Lenaro that built software for the ARM ecosystem.
Yeah.
That for 10 years, and then spun off Foundries, which is solving the problem of how do you take IoT products to market and manage the life cycle. So how do you update them? How do you avoid having a lot of technical debt in your operating system? And then how do you orchestrate applications and manage these devices when you may have 1,000, 10,000, 100,000 devices in the field? So that's what Foundry is set up to do. 2 years ago, we were acquired by Qualcomm, and we have very strong open source background. So we've worked in Linux a long time. And so we're helping Qualcomm be open and more developer friendly. And obviously we're part of this Qualcomm ecosystem. They've acquired Arduino, they've acquired Edge Impulse. So Edge Impulse is doing a lot of the AI stuff. We're doing a lot of this sort of application orchestration, device management, fleet management. And then Arduino bring this huge ecosystem, which we're really excited about. And our job is really to help those startups to big companies who are using Arduino products and get them to production. So securing the devices, making sure that they can meet the requirements of the new security legislation. And then on the AI side, dealing with integrating Edge Impulse, so it's really easy for customers to create their own models. I think you've talked to them. And then how do you actually deploy those models and manage them in over the air to fleets of maybe hundreds of thousands or millions of devices?
Yeah. So in the last few years, you started focusing on IoT devices.
Yes.
You know, deterministic code and devices that you kind of knew how it worked. And now we have AI coming down to the edge. And, and it adds in terms of size of the applications and the code is running. It adds in terms of variability of the behavior of these things, right? We're talking about models that are not deterministic. From your perspective and the perspective of Foundries and bringing products to production, what kind of challenges does that have?
So firstly, you have to have the challenge of where do you need to do the inference? Where do you need to do the AI modeling? And historically, sent to the cloud. We're building billions of dollars of cloud capability to do large language models. But clearly, there are a lot of applications where you don't have time. Latency of going to the cloud, doing the inference, coming back, doing the inference and coming back takes a long time. And if you're automotive application, for example, you need an answer immediately. You can't wait. You can't wait. So an increasing amount of thought is going into how do you do AI on the device and only go to the cloud when you need to. And you can think of a lot of examples. So things like smart glasses, where you're doing live translation. You can't really do live translation if you've got to go up to the cloud, understand what's going on and come back. So increasingly, you're seeing more and more performance in edge devices that allow you to then actually perform even LLMs on edge devices. So Arduino, for example, you can do Edge Impulse's kind of AI on their very small device, the Uno Q that they announced at the end of last year. And they've just announced yesterday Ventuno Q, which is a higher performance tool where you can actually run a full LLM on the IoT edge device. And then what we're doing at Foundries is essentially taking this developer journey from a developer or a startup or a big company who's doing a proof of concept of a new product and saying, okay, now how do we take that product and that design from a software point of view and build in the security that is needed by new legislation like the European Cyber Resilience Act and so on. And then how do you orchestrate those applications, update models over the air to lots and lots of devices and manage that process?
Yes. And with the actual trends of letting, quote unquote, letting AI do more and more on its own, as in eventually implement their own action based on, what they sense, what they are able to plan and then act, with agentic AI. That's the next level, right? And it actually lines up pretty well with IoT in general. Robotics is a good example.
Robotics is a good example.
You want autonomous parts that can be orchestrated and work together
Yes.
with a certain level of autonomy.
Yes. And a certain level of rules as well.
And I was about to get there,
Yeah.
What's your perspective on that level of rules, and how do we make sure that this thing is not going crazy and starts decapitating everyone in the factory?
I think you go back to iRobot and Isaac Asimov's 3 rules of robotics.
Yes.
It's a tough one. I think across the whole industry, we've got a range of opinions from just go for it to this is potentially very dangerous. And both sides are valid, right? There's a lot of opportunity to use AI to improve a lot of the processes and things we do that we perhaps don't want to do. And robotics is the ultimate example, because you've got sensory input that you've got to process.
Yes.
Then you've got to actually make a decision based on the surroundings around you. So that involves camera vision, understanding of, and then you've really got to know about the environment you're operating in, right? And so our home environment's very different and very uncontrolled if there are babies running around. As a factory where everything, particularly if it's an automated factory, where everything is in the same place, and actually there's not a huge amount of damage you can do. You might accidentally hit a robot next to you, but it's not gonna hurt a human being. So I think we do need to legislate. We need to have oversight on how this process is going on, and we're seeing a debate about this in the public thing. But I think from an IoT and edge point of view, making devices more intelligent and able to operate autonomously, obviously, smart cars, self-driving is one, but robotics is just as tough a problem. And uses all sorts of different IoT devices, from microcontrollers up to very powerful processors.
And there's different dimension in which AI is pushing IoT forward. Because AI needs the data of IoT. AI needs the sensors, sense the environment, and interact with the physical world. So IoT is on a good path here.
Well, yes, and the hardware challenge in IoT is everybody wants to do something different, right? Everything is different. So it's not like the mobile phone space, where mobile phones are basically mobile phones. You may be able to fold them, but the software for them you can build as a sort of standard platform. With IoT, you're talking about everything from sensors on the fingertips of a robot to a spaceship that's going up into space. And so you've got this huge variety of software. And how do you actually build standard ways of developing software and delivering it into these devices? So that's where we have spent a lot of effort. And the concept of, a bit like in mobile phone, you have the App Store, right? Before the App Store, mobile phones were vertical devices. Everybody remember the old Nokia phones? Now we're sitting in a world where if I bring an app, I want to deliver an app, I deliver it into the App Store. The equivalent for industrial and these IoT and edge applications is containers, right? So Docker containers, and how do you actually build applications and separate them from the operating system? But then from a software point of view, as a manufacturer, you've got to be able to update all of the software on your device. The applications, the operating system, even the firmware. And that's what a lot of this security stuff is coming. And then AI brings this additional element of you've got to be able to update those models on the fly, right? So as you learn more about your environment in an AI, as the AI agent learns more about its environment, it's got to update its model, whether it's locally or whether it's in the cloud.
Fascinating.
So there's a lot of work going on.
A lot of work
So-
going on. Good for us.
Yeah,
Yeah, you know,
yeah,
that's
lots to
some of our
do.
expertise. Awesome.
All right.
I think they're telling us it's time to go.
Okay.
Thanks a lot.
Very nice to meet you.
It was very nice to have you
And-
tonight. Everyone, I think we have one last guest. One last guest. Can we do one last guest? Yes, we can.
Okay.
So
I
stay
think
tuned. We have
you got
one more for
Marcello
you.
coming.
Let's do Marcello. We don't need to prepare. Hi, everyone. This is the IoT Show with Marcello from Arduino, and we are at IoT Stars. And yeah, it's fantastic. We're having a really good time over here.
Indeed, it's on fun as usual.
It is. It is fun as usual. So during this series of episodes tonight, we talked a lot about IoT, AI on edge, and how all of that works together. Arduino did release recently the Arduino Uno Q that brings together the world of microcontroller and CPU, and so that's a very interesting evolution for Arduino. You guys announced something yesterday.
Yesterday.
Before we get into that and the announcement, and you know what it is, right? Because the episode came after. Can you tell me what happened in lately? Because things have been super fast at Arduino since the acquisition of Qualcomm, in the last year or so. Things are scrambling in all directions. What's
Hard,
going on?
hard to believe, right? Yeah, we've been very busy in the last few months.
Yes.
I would say that we are really excited because I think that there is a massive opportunity there. You see, from an Arduino perspective, Arduino was born literally out of the need of democratizing technology. Starting with electronics, then with IoT, a topic that you know a little bit about. And I think that today, the real frontier of democratization is AI.
Yes.
You see, everybody's using AI, right? Millions and millions of people, right, every day are integrating into their workflow ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever, right? So you have a ton of AI users, but very few AI builders. The people that are building AI and building with AI are not enough, right? And but there are still
It's hard.
exactly.
Yeah.
But people with creativity and with ideas, there's
Yes.
plenty of them,
Yes.
right? And so what we want to do ultimately is to create a path for people that have the ideas and the creativity to be able to actually make them real.
Okay.
In the same way that 20 years ago, people had ideas for connected smart products, right? But they didn't have the electronics knowledge or the coding knowledge.
Yes.
And Arduino took down the barrier in order to enable them, to build what they had envisioned.
So you want to be a Tony Stark, able to build the things. out of
Everybody
nothing.
can be Tony Stark with Arduino. That's kind of the point.
That's fantastic. And you guys have definitely accelerated the pace here. You're really picking up on, I guess, implementing things that were already, thoughts and a direction that Arduino wanted to take with the support of Qualcomm. You guys just released something that is big, right? Totally different from what Arduino used to do before. Or is it? Actually?
It's not really, right? Because if you think about it, at the end of the day, is ultimately the framework is the same, right? You have a physical world that you gather information from, sensors.
Okay.
Then you have, a brain, a CPU for compute. And then you have a loop back to the physical world to affect change into the physical world.
Yeah.
Right? The only difference is that, we have more capable sensors and more of them and more refined and I would say higher resolution, like high-speed cameras.
Okay.
You have much bigger brain, right? With not just a small microcontroller, but also with a very capable CPU and a neural processing unit for kind of this AI thing.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the loop back, which is again the ability to control, not just to turn on an LED, right, but to control a motor, to to move a car, or that sort of stuff. So at the end of the day, ultimately the primitive is the same. It's just at a bigger scale and with much more complexity that we need to abstract in order to kind of let people in.
Yes, yes. So that's the Arduino Ventuno Q.
That's the Ventuno Q.
That's the name of that thing.
It is.
And Ventuno in Italian means 21.
21, which is incidentally also the 21 years since the foundation of Arduino.
People will start, having this theory that why 21, why Ventuno. So that's one of the reasons.
That's one of the reasons.
Then have the rumors go.
Indeed, that's definitely one of the reasons. Every time that I get interviewed, I will tell a different reason.
I'm gonna track that. I'm gonna try and track that. Awesome. So, Marcello, what is the thing that you're most excited about when it comes to Ventuno? One thing. I know you're excited about a lot of things, but when you think about what makers, what developers, what professionals will start building with, what do you see in the future?
So it's hard to choose, but if I had to pick one, ultimately is the democratization of robotics, right? Robotics is an extremely cool domain, extremely complicated, right? You did multiple PhDs in order to kind of, to do anything that is kind of, make sense. Being able to break down that barrier of entry and let creativity of people unleash, that's the most exciting.
I like that. Physical AI becoming a reality.
Physical AI.
Not just a buzzword.
Exactly, and for everyone.
For everyone. 21 of them.
20. Hopefully more than that.
Awesome. Marcello, thanks a lot for your time tonight.
Always a pleasure, man.
Yeah. Everyone, thanks for tuning in on the IoT Show. Talk to you soon. Bye. And we do it again.